Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the nation is celebrating Police Week, and here in the Virgin Islands, our police officers are observing it in various ways. The Mariel Newton Command on St. Thomas held an open house on Tuesday. Their special guests, senior citizens who got enlightened on crimes like scams and identity thefts. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Mariel Newton Command of the VIPD played host to some 25 seniors on Tuesday. Their goal, to make sure VI seniors know how to protect themselves against scams.
We are celebrating Police Week. Mariel Newton Command's open house is today. And what we decided to do, since it's also Senior Month, we decided to have the seniors join us today for open house, and we're giving them a workshop pertaining to crime tips.
One particular scam proliferating in the Virgin Islands involves phone cards.
Individuals is calling them, pretending that they're a family member or friend that is sick, and is advising them to go to a store and purchase phone cards. After they purchase the phone cards, they give them the number, and the number they have access to, and then they do what they want with those numbers.
Sergeant Linda Raymond, who heads up a fraud division, spoke on various other types of scams, which are becoming increasingly diverse, from official-looking letters to purported lottery winnings to free money on social media.
They call you and say you win the lottery and you got to send $500 to collect the money. Hang up quickly.
Now, everyone is susceptible to a scam, but there are specific types that target seniors. According to police officers, the bottom line is be vigilant with the information that you give out and the people that you speak with.
You get a call from somebody you don't know, the number is not identified, hang up, tell them give you a number, you call them back. And if you still ain't sure, call 911. Reporting
for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the VIPD is also catering to other age groups as they continue their outreach as part of their Police Week celebrations. Well, the Department of Human Services held a parade last week on St. Thomas that began at the Lionel Roberts Stadium and ended at Emancipation Garden. Also on Saturday, the parade turned to St. Croix. That began very early at 10 a.m. at the Market Square and ended at Fort Christianvern. There were a number of entries to include the St. Croix Majorettes, floats, schools, high school marching bands, Probably Lost in School, and the Ebenezer Steel Orchestra, Head Start Children, and more. We heard from Mr. Winthrop Hector Sr., who celebrated his 100th birthday just in November.
Yes. About in the time when the Danes were ruling this island, and they did the celebration of the Princess School when they took down the old dollar bag, made this flag, and put up the American flag. I was 2 years old, and I could still remember that.
Still going strong?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Now, there's a lot of other events coming up as well. On May 11th, the Rotary West will be hosting our seniors for Bingo Day on St. Croix from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then on May 13th, seniors on St. Thomas will enjoy the day at Megan's Bay Beach. That begins at 10 a.m. On St. Croix, there will be a health expo at the D.C. Canagata Multipurpose Center. The health expo will focus on screening services for senior citizens. These screening services include cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, vision, podiatry, and other medical ailments affecting the elderly. Also participating will be AARP, Department of Health, Continuum Care, American Cancer Society, Medicare, and other programs and services administered by the department. Senator Marvin Blyden is inviting seniors to the first annual Seniors Brunch immediately following his annual Blyden Scholarship Prayer Breakfast fundraiser this Saturday, May 14th. This event begins at 2 p.m. in Columban Hall of the Holy Family Church in Estate 22. The event is free to all seniors that can make it to the hall in Estate 22. There will be lots of entertainment and music. Turn our attention over to the education news. The St. Croix Office of the Insular Superintendent is informing the community that school bus service for Estate Richmond and the John F. Kennedy Terrace Housing Community to and from St. Croix Central High School is suspended from Wednesday, May 11th to Tuesday, May 31st. Bus service, they say, will resume on June 1st. Parents are asked to make alternate arrangements for students to be transported to and from school during the bus suspension. Now, that decision to suspend bus service on the routes came as the result of multiple complaints by the school bus company of ongoing student misconduct and non-compliance with school bus safety rules while the buses are in operation. A parent meeting was held recently at Central High School on Monday, May 9th, and highlighted critical school bus safety procedures and stressed the importance of students adhering to those procedures. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Well, during their board meeting on Monday, the Synchro Hospital District Governing Board decided to demote Ken Okolo to his former post from Chief Executive Officer. Okolo is now Chief Operating Officer, the same position he held from January 2015 until he took over in an interim capacity in November 2015. The ratification of Okolo's contract as CEO, which was already previously approved by the Synchro board, was complicated by recent discovery that the school in New Mexico, where Okolo earned his doctorate, was not accredited. The Territorial Hospital Board told its Synchro members to go back to the negotiating table, and Monday's demotion was the result. Synchro Board Chairman Troy DeChabert-Schuster declined to comment on Tuesday, but he did say a lot of thought and deliberation went into that board's decision. Well, it was a bill that was supposed to result in a payout of millions of dollars that could benefit local organizations. But on Monday, it caused a bit of disagreement among lawmakers. Those who had issues with the bill want someone to be held accountable for almost $500,000 in debt that's tied into the legislation. News2's April Knight has the story.
A bill that could open up millions of dollars in federal funding sparked a heated debate at the Senate on Monday. Bill number 31-0359 would give the Law Enforcement Planning Commission, or LEPC, an additional $500,000 this year. That's so the agency can reimburse the federal government for some unauthorized expenditure, according to a 2012 audit.
Subsequent to that, the federal government has pretty much seized the LEPC funding at the tune of $7,698,151.
The LEPC is one local agency that funnels federal grant monies to local nonprofits like Family Resource Center and the Women's Coalition of St. Croix. They've had difficulty getting grant funding for a period of time last year, which according to LEPC leadership then is due to faulty filing of paperwork. The deadline to pay the $500,000 is in 2 weeks and could in turn make some $7.6 million in federal monies available to the LEPC. Some lawmakers, however, have issues about the additional appropriations.
Someone is responsible for misusing $500,000+. Who is going to be held accountable?
Senator Novell Francis said, however, that they can't be lawmakers and prosecutors at the same time.
Again, it's to ensure that we're able to address the issue of getting the money so that we don't have the problem of Women's Coalition, the Family Resource Center, the Weed and Seed.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Other amendments were also attached to Bill number 31-0359, including $25,000 for a toddler gym on St. Croix and some security measures pushed by Senator Francis. Well, turning our attention to the eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with the Stock Market Watch. And according to the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 222, NASDAQ 59, S&P 500 up 25. Coming up on News 2, new technology for healthier mothers and children in the territory has been unveiled. More about the new interactive wellness kiosk and tablet program. AMT Public Relations Officer Dallas Walwyn said a call came into 911 after 3 p.m. on Monday From a concerned citizen, 911 dispatched rescue to Smith Bay area after 4 p.m. about a male fallen in a cistern and possibly unconscious. Chief L. Thomas was first on the scene, who confirmed that there was not one but two victims who apparently fell an estimated 25 to 30 feet drop. Through a joint operation with fire and rescue, EMS, and the police department, rescue efforts lasted about 15 to 45 minutes for both victims. Both patients were turned over to EMS to be medically examined, as well as personnel from the fire department who went down the cistern to assist the rescue. We will follow up on their conditions, and this happened on Monday. Now, Monday, May 9th at roughly 11 p.m., officers were dispatched by the 911 emergency call center in regards to a shooting victim at the Roy Lesher Schneider Regional Medical Center. Upon arrival to the hospital, contact was made with the victim, who later was identified as 21-year-old Raheem Luzanares of Atlanta, who resides in Estate 22. Here's more.
Luzanares received multiple gunshot wounds to the upper chest area. He was then taken into surgery and was unable to provide a statement. Officers from the Forensic Unit and Criminal Investigations Bureau responded to the hospital and later located the crime scene area south of the J. Antonio Jarvis School. The incident is currently under active investigation by the Criminal Investigations Bureau. Anyone having information about this crime may notify major crime scenes at 340-714-9823, extension 5617, or you can call Crime Stoppers or the Chief's office at 340-774-2211.
Also on Monday, May 9th at roughly 4:33 p.m., officers were dispatched by the 911 emergency call center to the Roy Lesher Schneider Regional Medical Center in regards to a victim who was stabbed on Black Point Hill. Officers made contact with the victim, who was identified as 56-year-old Vincent Brooks of Guadalupe, who resides in Estate Hope. Here's more.
Brooks suffered lacerations to his right hand, stomach area, and forehead. Brooks was treated to his injuries and then released from the hospital. This matter is on investigation. The case is currently still under active investigation by the Criminal Investigations Bureau.
That was Glenn Drade, who is the new VIPD Territorial Public Information Officer. Turn our attention to the courts. Miguel Rodriguez, 60, of St. Thomas, Estelancio de Jesus, 47, and Tomas Miguel Levriano Castillo, 44, of the Dominican Republic were arrested Monday on a criminal complaint charging them with 1 count each of possession with intent to distribute narcotics. A preliminary hearing is set for May 12 for all 3 men. According to the complaint, Castillo came by vessel from Tortola with 6 kilograms of cocaine. Castillo had made arrangement with De Jesus and Rodriguez to pick him up at Hull Bay. When the boat arrived in Hull Bay, Castillo was seen jumping from the vessel with a backpack, while De Jesus and Rodriguez waited for him on shore. When Drug Enforcement Administration agents approached the men, Castillo attempted to throw the backpack under a tree. The bag was searched and 6 bricks of a white substance that were located inside the backpack that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed approximately 6 kilograms. It was determined that Castillo and De Jesus are in the U.S. illegally. Well, a fire is presently under investigation by the St. Thomas St. John Arson Prevention and Investigation Unit. On Sunday, May 8th at 5:45 a.m., both units from Hotel Company responded to a 911 emergency call about a structural fire at Yumbo Supermarket located at 27A Contant. Fire service personnel came upon a 2-story concrete structure fully engulfed in flames. Additional units from both Tango and Echo companies were requested on the scene. Within 30 to 35 minutes, the fire was extinguished, and along with salvage and overhaul operations performed, one of the female employees of the business sustained first-degree burns to her lower back and both lower extremities and was transported to the hospital. Commissioner nominee Michelle Davis and the USVI Maternal Child Health and Children with Special Care Needs Program and St. Andrews Development, they unveiled a new interactive wellness kiosk and tablet program that provides important health information, especially for women on St. Croix. Another unveiling is planned for St. Thomas at the MCH clinic on Wednesday. Now, this provides important health information, especially for women. The touchscreen kiosk and tablets, they provide a wide range of info on healthy eating as well as cribs for kids. The Maternal Child Health and Children with Special Needs Care program has been in the Virgin Islands for over 40 years. For more information, you can call on St. Croix 340-718-1311 or 340-777-8804 on St. Thomas, St. John. We will have more on that program on Wednesday's newscast. No additional cases of Zika were confirmed in the Virgin Islands. The Department of Health says weekly Zika surveillance report, according to that, the total number of Zika cases remain at 21, with 15 cases in St. Croix, 1 case in St. John, and 5 on St. Thomas. To date, 566 pregnant women in the USVI have been tested for Zika, and 3 were confirmed positive. Now, although the number of confirmed Zika cases hasn't changed since last week, the Department of Health says we need to remain diligent to protect ourselves and the health of future generations from this virus, Commissioner nominee Michelle Davis stated in response to that last report. The Virgin Islands Port Authority has a BBB+ rating on several series of bonds from Standard & Poor's Rating Services. That was announced by VIPA's director Carlton Dow on Monday. Now, those bonds are VIPA's 2014 A, B, and C marine revenue bonds. S&P has classified VIPA's financial outlook as stable. The Port Authority has maintained this rating for the last 3 years. According to Dow, the executive director also said that it's an indication that VIPA is properly managing its financial portfolio and making timely payments on bonds issued in 2014. Those bonds were used to finance several major capital improvement projects. Well, as we reported, the Virgin Islands Montessori School and Peter Gruber International Academy hosted a group of 6 NASA scientists and engineers for a Student Science Day during regular school hours on Monday. They experienced great science and tech courtesy of the NASA guests. Now, NASA will also be visiting other schools throughout St. Thomas in an effort to share their expertise and opportunities in the science, technology, engineering, and math STEM program. On Monday night, they invited the community to hear from them at VI Montessori School. Now, over the next few days, there are outreaches planned at Montessori, UVI, Eudora Ken, Alla F. Muller, CAHS, and Adelita Cancrine. Topics covered includes environmental engineering, applied physics, medical science, structural engineering, mechanical engineering, software development, and computer science. We'll have more. Well, it was suspected but now confirmed after an examination that Franco the sea lion from Coral World died in March as a result of a freak accident caused by an interaction with another male sea lion. And that's according to Lee Keller, who's the general curator at Coral World. The park announced that 12-year-old Franco, one of their 4 South American sea lions, had died, possibly of that. Franco was discovered in his enclosure by the sea lion training staff on Friday morning, March 25th. He was rescued as a newborn from a government-sanctioned cull in Uruguay. Franco was 12 years old. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.